For centuries, the Book of Revelation has mystified readers with its apocalyptic visions. But what if this ancient text holds a hidden message of hope? Enter Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. Through his remarkable psychic abilities, Cayce offered a revolutionary interpretation of Revelation. He saw it not as a prediction of doom, but as a guide for spiritual growth. Picture this: a man in a trance-like state, speaking profound truths. This was Cayce delivering insights that would transform our understanding of Revelation. What made his interpretations so different? Why did they resonate with so many seekers? And how could they possibly change your spiritual path? The sleeping prophet awakens. Born in 1877 on a humble Kentucky farm, Edgar Cayce's journey from simple country boy to America's most documented psychic is remarkable. His gift manifested in a unique way through trance-like states where he could access the Akashic records, a cosmic library of all human experiences and knowledge. During these trance sessions, Cayce spoke with an eloquence that seemed impossible for someone with little formal education. He used complex medical terminology and offered profound insights into the nature of the soul, providing detailed information about his clients' health conditions with startling accuracy. Picture Cayce lying down, entering a deep meditative state. As he slipped into this altered consciousness, he would communicate with higher spiritual entities, receiving insights that he would later relay to his clients. It was as if he became a conduit for universal wisdom, bridging the gap between our physical world and the spiritual realm. Despite giving over 14,000 documented readings, Cayce constantly grappled with skepticism, both from others and within himself. This internal struggle was a constant companion, pushing him to question and refine his understanding of his abilities. As Cayce's fame grew, so did the demands on his unique talent. People from all walks of life, from everyday individuals to prominent figures, sought his guidance. The pressure to provide answers, to be the bridge between worlds, weighed heavily on him. This ability to access hidden knowledge positioned Cayce to tackle one of the most enigmatic texts in religious history, the Book of Revelation. What drew him to this particular biblical book? Perhaps it was the challenge of decoding its complex symbolism, or maybe it was a higher calling to bring clarity to a text that had puzzled scholars for centuries. Cayce's approach to Revelation was revolutionary. He perceived a roadmap for spiritual growth where others saw doom and destruction. The 7 churches mentioned in the text, Cayce interpreted them as symbols of the 7 spiritual centers within the human body, aligning with the concept of chakras found in various spiritual traditions. As Cayce delved deeper into Revelation symbolism, he began uncovering layers of meaning far beyond traditional interpretations. The beasts, the plagues, the apocalyptic visions all took on new significance in light of Cayce's insights, transforming how many viewed this ancient text. Revelation reimagined, a new perspective. What if the book of Revelation isn't about the end of the world, but about the beginning of your spiritual awakening? This radical idea challenges centuries of traditional interpretation, turning a text of fear into a guidebook for personal growth. Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, unveiled this perspective through his trance-induced insights. For centuries, the book of Revelation has been viewed as a prophetic text foretelling the end times. Its vivid imagery of beasts, plagues, and apocalyptic visions has struck fear into the hearts of millions. But what if those ominous symbols were coded messages for your inner growth? To truly grasp the significance of Cayce's insights, we need to consider the historical context of Revelation. Written during a time of intense persecution for early Christians under Roman rule, the text was originally intended as a message of hope and resilience for believers facing oppression. Early Christians often used symbolic language to communicate secretly. What if Revelation was a coded text waiting for us to decipher its true meaning? Now, picture the 7 churches mentioned in Revelation. In traditional interpretations, they are often seen as literal places. But Cayce saw something entirely different. To him, these 7 churches symbolize the 7 spiritual centers within your body, what Eastern traditions might call chakras. Imagine these centers as stations on a transformational journey, each representing virtues and challenges you must face as you evolve spiritually. Cayce's approach aligns with what scholars call the idealist or symbolic view of Revelation. Instead of seeing the text as a literal account of future events, this perspective frames it as an allegory of the ongoing struggle between good and evil. But Cayce took it further, bringing it into our spiritual lives. Let's consider the frightening imagery that populates Revelation. What if the beasts, the plagues, and the apocalyptic visions aren't warnings of impending doom, but symbols of our own inner struggles? Cayce's interpretation transforms these terrifying images into powerful metaphors for the challenges we face in our spiritual growth. Suddenly, the beast isn't an external threat, but represents our lower self that we must overcome. This shift in perspective is profound. Instead of cowering in fear of a prophesied apocalypse, we're empowered to face our inner apocalypse, the breaking down of old patterns and beliefs that no longer serve us. The book of Revelation becomes a roadmap for our soul's journey back to its divine origins. Imagine reading Revelation with this new understanding. The New Jerusalem isn't a physical city descending from the heavens, but a symbol of the perfected state of consciousness we all strive towards. The Lamb's Book of Life isn't a literal record of the saved, but a metaphor for our awakened consciousness. This interpretation offers hope instead of fear and growth instead of destruction. It transforms Revelation from a text that divides people into the saved and the damned into one that unites us all in a shared journey of spiritual evolution. It's no longer about waiting for external events to unfold, but about actively participating in our spiritual awakening. The body as a spiritual map. Imagine your body as a living, breathing map of the cosmos. Each spiritual center, a twinkling star in the constellation of your being. Cayce's interpretation takes us on a celestial journey, suggesting that the key to unlocking Revelation's secrets lies within our flesh and blood. He identified 7 spiritual centers in the body, each corresponding to a specific endocrine gland and one of the 7 churches mentioned in Revelation. Picture yourself as a cosmic instrument, finely tuned to resonate with divine frequencies. Starting at the base, we encounter the Church of Ephesus, the pulse of your creativity and basic instincts. Have you ever felt a surge of energy when you truly embraced your inner fire? Moving up, we find the Church of Smyrna, connected to your emotional depths and intuitive abilities. Can you sense the ebb and flow of your inner tides? The Church of Pergamos corresponds to your capacity for courage and determination. How often have you drawn upon this wellspring of strength? Next, we have the Church of Thyatira, which influences your ability to love and show compassion. Have you felt your heart expand with unconditional love? As we ascend further, we reach the Church of Sardis, responsible for your communication and self-expression. How clearly do you voice your truth? The Church of Philadelphia connects to your cosmic antenna, attuned to higher realms of consciousness. Have you experienced moments of profound insight or connection to something greater? Finally, at the crown, we have the Church of Laodicea, the key to your highest spiritual potential. Can you feel the gentle pulsing of this energy center, urging you toward enlightenment? Modern science is beginning to harmonize with Cayce's insights. Studies show meditation can positively influence the endocrine system, enhancing gland function, crucial for stress response and hormonal balance. Research indicates that mindfulness practices can lead to increased levels of hormones associated with well-being and spiritual connection. Imagine your body as a finely tuned orchestra, each spiritual center an instrument playing in perfect harmony. When these centers are aligned, you might find yourself more attuned to the subtle energies around you, experiencing a more profound sense of peace, a greater capacity for love, or flashes of intuitive insight. But what happens when these spiritual centers are out of tune? The result would be disharmony, potentially manifesting as physical, emotional, or spiritual distress. The good news is that we can transform our spiritual journey by understanding and working with these centers. Cayce's readings suggest that activating and harmonizing these spiritual centers is key to achieving a higher state of consciousness. As you align and balance these centers, picture yourself as a cosmic antenna, each spiritual center finely calibrated to receive divine wisdom. You're not just tuning an instrument, you're tuning your very essence to the frequencies of the universe. Battling the beasts within. Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a dark forest, heart pounding as you prepare to face your deepest fears. This isn't just any forest, it's the landscape of your mind, where the most terrifying monsters lurk in the shadows of your thoughts. Edgar Cayce's revolutionary interpretation of the Book of Revelation suggests that these inner demons are the true beasts we must confront. Cayce's insights turn the traditional view of Revelation upside down. Instead of prophecies about future calamities, he sees vivid metaphors for our internal struggles. The four horsemen, they're not harbingers of global catastrophe, but symbols of the emotional roadblocks we face on our path to growth. Conquest, war, famine, and death represent the real challenges we encounter as we strive for personal evolution. But what about those four beasts mentioned in Revelation? Cayce's readings suggest they represent fundamental physical desires we all grapple with: self-preservation, sustenance, propagation of species, and self-gratification. These aren't external threats, but aspects of our lower nature that we must learn to overcome. Now, you might be wondering, how can understanding these inner beasts help us in our daily lives? Imagine turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, what seemed terrifying becomes manageable, even valuable. Recognizing and integrating these shadow aspects of ourselves opens the door to profound personal growth. This interpretation aligns remarkably well with modern psychological concepts, particularly the idea of the shadow self. The beast symbolizes the darker aspects of our psyche, our ego, our self-deception, all those parts of ourselves we'd rather not acknowledge. But what happens when we ignore these internal conflicts? That's where things can get messy. Remember the mark of the beast, 666, from Revelation? Cayce saw this not as a literal mark, but as a symbol of unevolved animalistic behavior within humans. It's what happens when we let our lower impulses run unchecked and fail to address our inner conflicts and grow beyond them. What is the payoff for facing these inner beasts? It's nothing short of spiritual evolution. By working through our emotional states and desires, we transcend our lower nature and achieve a higher state of consciousness. It's not an easy journey. Cayce likened it to the Great Tribulation mentioned in Revelation, a necessary experience for every soul. But through this internal struggle, we can become the best versions of ourselves. So, are you ready to shine a light on your inner darkness? The monsters may seem scary, but remember, they're a part of you, waiting to be understood and integrated. Your personal apocalypse might just be the beginning of your most profound transformation. Imagine a world where the book of Revelation isn't a harbinger of doom, but a gateway to personal enlightenment. This is Edgar Cayce's vision, transforming a fear-inducing text into a roadmap for spiritual growth. Picture this: you're exploring the landscape of your psyche, where beasts and plagues are internal challenges waiting to be overcome. This new perspective invites us to turn our gaze inward, where true revelations await. It's not just about personal growth, it reflects a broader cultural shift. As more people seek alternative spiritual practices, we witness a collective journey from fear to hope, from confusion to clarity. Are you ready to embark on this transformative adventure? Imagine unlocking your inner wisdom. Are you prepared to step into the light of your potential?